I haven't dated anyone for almost 2 years now because I almost immediately find faults with women because I know what red flags to look for automatically. Apparently, I'm not the only one. There are tons of other guys that feel the exact same. You wanted a life partner, not an object, and you find objects like your television, microwave, and car, all that special. When intimacy is restricted to marriage between two people, it felt special, and people had to attract people with traits that were not intimacy related. And yet another guy thinks it's the mind creating a self-defense mechanism to protect you from falling in love. I guess I agree with all those points. I guess it's a bit from all of them, but I would go even further. It's like there's a part of me that just became entirely apathetic and stopped caring completely about the opposite gender. I didn't care when I saw a woman collapse flat in the derriere. In fact, I wanted to wave my arms in the air, as if I didn't care as much. This is the world that women have created by mistreating men. And when men realize what female nature is all about after taking the red pill, we simply stopped paying attention to women as a validation resource. And they all believe that we will always seek out whatever else they desire because we can't help ourselves. But this is simply not the case. More women will suffer as a result of men learning about female nature and safe and anonymous ways to use the internet. The manner in which women to deal with men's apathy. Women appear to be wearing more makeup, putting more effort into their appearance, and doing more to pique a man's interest and commitment. Everything from going too far on the first date to playing the female chameleon and pretending to all the same things that he does even for many years. If the guy's a good catch, and they know it, they'll do whatever it takes to keep his attention. They have to, because don't you know where have all the good men gone? But for men going our own way, once we realize that women don't return our love in the same way that we love them, and once we realize that we don't want them because they become increasingly unattractive, no man that fully comprehends that to most women, he's a human doing instead of a human, will find most women attractive unless they have something special about them. My pseudo's celebrity YouTube crush was someone fantastic. She does travel videos in remote places in Nevada, Arizona, California, etc. I find her energy and vibe really appealing, but after listening to her say that she's originally from San Francisco and a liberal Democrat, I changed my mind and interest. I became indifferent, and I don't even care about politics. Mind you, I really haven't had anyone to crush on for the last 3 or 4 years, so I fell for the whole female chameleon thing. Plus, she's a bit older in her early 40s, and I don't care about that. But I knew that once she started speaking about the oppressed peoples while she was driving around, I just couldn't listen to her anymore. How much is an overweight woman gonna cost me in healthcare costs if I get together with her in 5 to 10 years? When I meet a woman, I think to myself, how much is she gonna harm me for working hard and oppressing people with my effort? When I hear a woman that's a loudmouth, I wonder how long I could actually date her without going crazy. I've tried to be with such women before, and usually it's only 3 to 5 weeks. When a woman has a sisters, I think to myself that her sister is the one that's gonna be butting her nose in everything. And if her sister doesn't like me, then neither will she. If she likes to overindulge, I think to myself, how long before she goes under the influence or high one night and cheats on me if she likes taking pictures of expensive food and exotic destinations? How long before I have to spend thousands of dollars so she can take a selfie of a taco in Morocco? If I don't take her on that trip, then we won't have relations either. Once you know about female nature and behavior, you can start to see patterns in previous women's behavior when you dated them. All of a sudden, it not only gets tired and boring, but you'd rather be going to sleep alone instead of dealing with the ladies. On the rare occasion, you do find a woman that is mostly great. She's like a roller coaster. The line is long, the ride is short, and there's a mile of guys behind you, and a mile of guys in front of you waiting to get on a good time with her. You'd actually see guys camping out with her. I don't really have to explain what that's all about. The reason we have memories in life is not so we can actually sit on a porch as old men one day and reminisce about the good old days when you and Bo would drive around in the General Lee through the swamps, chased by Roscoe Pico train. But instead, it's about making sure you remember all the times you got hurt. The reason all those women you once found attractive are no longer attractive to you is because you now have experience, or more importantly, you've connected red pill knowledge to your real-life experiences. I get about half a dozen guys a week commenting about how my experiences in life relate to theirs so well, how when I identify certain types of female behaviors and motivations, they can see those reflected in their own experience. Suddenly, they have an aha moment while listening to me. It all begins to make sense as men. When we have our aha moments, we start to see female behavior differently. If a woman we know nags at us, and we pretty much put her in her place, you may notice that quite often this makes her happy. Immediately after you do, you're standing up to her, testing and winning, but it's taking its toll on your psychological well-being, while the drama does nothing more than entertain her. So if you get involved with the woman and she immediately starts testing you, then you'll actually find her unattractive, because you know that you'll have to keep winning one test after another for the rest of the time you talk to her. It's a complete waste of energy effort. It will make you unhappy because you know what it's all about, so you'll immediately find her unattractive. As a result, you'll lose interest. If the woman is quiet and keeping her emotions bottled up, then you know that she's most likely the quiet type, and will use their passive-aggressive techniques like gaslighting to manipulate you. Women are different in the ways that they use different techniques to manipulate men. Once you see this, it's hard to be attracted to women in general. It doesn't mean that you would be rather fudge-packing, no matter how much women out there try to shame you with that suggestion. It just means that you're maturing and you don't want to deal with childish games anymore. That's why guys find women less appealing after taking the red, because it has to do with maturity. In the past, when life was tougher, short, and brutal, men grew up a lot faster than they do today. Sure, women were still attractive, but survival was more important, so men focused on one over the other. As life got physically easier and women got physically harder, they probably saw subconsciously that some of that male effort that was required before for mere survival could be confiscated for their own personal amusement. Many of them are unaware that male maturity implies that male effort is not distributed like peas candies to a 200-pound child. The media frequently portrays men as childish pawns, because if a man is a moron, he is unlikely to consider where his effort goes, and most of it may simply go to a. It's similar to that line I use from time to time. Women want an independent man, but not one who thinks independently. When a man thinks for himself, he is less likely to find women attractive solely because of their appearance. Instead, because the quality of women has deteriorated, he will most likely carefully weigh the pros and cons. Over the last 30 to 40 years, men have been turned into zombies with professional sports and bro culture. The media promotes mindless male behavior. The only way that a typical man finds the typical woman attractive is if he's kept in the dark about female nature. Suddenly, when he sees the game for what it really is, he no longer finds them as attractive. They have to be that 1% of women that do something above and beyond the call of kill duty. Maybe they run a travel adventure YouTube channel, or they're a hilarious comedian, or perhaps they have an amazing personality that lights up a room whenever they walk into it. The reason red pill men find most women unattractive is because it takes more than a pretty looks. To pique our curiosity, why do you think that women have been using cooking as a way to attract and keep men? For most of history, it's the food stupid. She's just hoping that it's the happy joy, feelings of eating. They keep you coming back for more. Why do you think that so many women in the red pill community are going back to faux traditional design, baking pies barefoot, while wearing open back aprons with their bottoms hanging out? You know why. For easy access, they're trying to cover their modern bad attitudes. With the old Southern hospitality, they're going back to the good old days of beautifying their appearance. Instead of putting on Daisy Dukes, they're making the food taste good, and most importantly, acting pleasant to be. They want to look, act, and through their cooking taste good too. It's only been in the last few generations that women have revealed their true nature to us. Is it any wonder that most of us red-pilled men can no longer find the majority of them attractive? We aren't looking at and judging their physical beauty and baked goods, which amounts to nothing more than dog treats for men. Instead, we're simply looking at a female magician in her misdirect. She's covering her flaws with virtues on the outside to reflect the virtues that a man has on the inside. Ironically, men are generally less attractive on the outside than women, and we usually smell and look bad. It's like our outside body reflects their inside mind, and it's almost as if their outside is supposed to reflect our inside. It's all about mirroring one another as a man. Once you learn that a woman's subconscious and conscious mind don't mirror yours, you don't actually find her all that attractive anymore. You find her to be an alien compared to your own personal value system and behavior. So is it any wonder that men going their own way find most women unattractive and a small percentage kind of iffy? I don't think it's a coincidence at all.